Well, with us all night here in the studio has been Rahul Chaudhury, a Senior Fellow for South Asia at the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Rahul, this hour, let's talk a bit about how regional politics affect national politics, whether they hamper it, whether they drive it forward, and how is Narendra Modi going to reconcile regional politics with the national agenda?
Well, you know, for the last 20 odd years, there's been a view that the power focus in India has shifted from the center to the regions. And the reason for this has been that for the last 20 odd years, there has been no single party government in New Delhi. The exception, of course, is today. So the view was that, well, actually, the regional parties are very important in national politics. We have to look at the role of the chief ministers of various provinces and their influence on Delhi. This election has actually turned the whole thing around, where we've seen that there are powerful regional politicians, the chief ministers of West Bengal, of Tamil Nadu, of Bihar in that sense. But even if the chief ministers of West Bengal and Tamil Nadu have the seats in parliament, it actually will make no impact on the central government. Because Modi does not need them to rule. And this has been a fundamental shift that we've seen in this election, which most of us, I think, for the last few years were writing that this would not happen again, that there would not be a single party government in India again. But we've all been proven wrong.
How is Narendra Modi's 12 years as Chief Minister of Gujarat going to shape his leadership of the country? We've been talking about that model of economic development in Gujarat. Amartya Sen, the great Indian economist, he's a bit of a critic of the Chief Minister's tenure of those 12 years, saying that there wasn't enough concentration on human development. It was too much about infrastructure in Gujarat.
I think that the view is that there is controversy over the Gujarat model of development, as Narendra Modi has talked about this. Essentially, that there's been more growth and less development, particularly in areas where there are Muslim sort of dominated areas in Gujarat. This is something that it will be very difficult in a way for Narendra Modi to impose on the rest of India. There is unlikely to be a Gujarat model which will be useful for India because of the differences within India of the different states. But the key issue clearly will be the way that Narendra Modi is able to relate to the minorities in India. There you talked about your report talked about the controversy about Narendra Modi, and it's something that has in many ways moved on. The attacks in Gujarat took place over 12 years ago. A special investigation team led by the Supreme Court actually exonerated Narendra Modi of any culpability charges. But the taint still remains, and the key issue will be how does Modi relate to the minorities in India today.
Okay, just in about 20 seconds if you can, what do you think the demographics, when we eventually get the numbers, are going to show us about how young people have voted and for which party they've voted most?
I think in this election we had 100 million new voters, so young voters coming on board for this election. There is clearly a huge amount of interest in terms of the young voters and their participation in the elections. We've seen a phenomenal rise in the number of people who've actually taken part in these elections. This is the highest level of participation for several decades. We are looking at about 67% of the total electorate voting, compared to 58 or 59% 5 years ago. So the young people, I think, have taken a very proactive role. We'll have to see what the figures are in the next few weeks as to the proportion of young people voting for the BJP versus the other parties. But my sense clearly is that the areas that Modi is focusing on, jobs, growth, a sense of national resilience, would appeal to the youth of India.
Rahul Chaudhury, more in the hours to come. Thanks once again.